differently for how would you approach that now?
So if the put was in the money, I'd be a little less concerned. Um, I don't have the buying power to own 100 shares of Spotify, but with a short put, you're buying 100 shares at the strike price. So it's less risky in the sense that you own the equity. Whereas a short call, if you get assigned and you don't have the equity to back it up, you are now in a short position and you're basically borrowing shares from someone to short the stock.
Which is bad.
So, yeah, so basically the risk on that is, so if I got assigned at 320 and Spotify ran up to 350 and I basically got called to cover the shares at that, I would lose 30 times 100, which I think is $3,000 off the top of my head.
Got it. But if everything goes good, how much do you stand to collect in premium on this play?
$100 for, I think it is like 9 days
And
since
how
I
much
entered.
and how much buying power did you have to put up for this play?
This was around, looking at my account, $3,500 in buying power.
So it's so the thing, the main thing people for I think for people that I want people to kind of grasp and understand about this strategy is that this is a very conservative approach to options, because essentially what Tyler is doing right now is he put in a situation, a very highly improbable situation. So this is a very low risk play, even though it's $3,500 in capital that's being put up. It's a super low risk play, and you're almost guaranteed to collect $100 to make $100 on that for nothing.
You are guaranteed to make the $100. It's just whether you get assigned or not, because you'll keep that $100 regardless if you get assigned, but there's no downside if you don't get assigned. So it'll be all profit if you don't.
And if you do get assigned, it'll just be in the put. You'll get pretty much. I think you'll welcome those shares at 210.
Yeah, I would buy Spotify any day at 210 right now.
Exactly, and on the call side, that's where it could kind of get tricky. But
yeah, on the call side, that's where it can get risky, because if they run, especially in this market, if the stock's already running, it's going to be hard to slow it down.
But at the same time, Spotify at 250 right now. I'm pretty sure if you saw it running up anywhere near the 300, you would be getting out of that position way before it got anywhere close to 320. So I'm assuming that's kind of also another reason why you put it that high.
Yeah, and the only thing I will caution people with is just you can't really panic, because moves tend to happen quick, and you'll see premiums spike up right away. It happens on Tesla all the time. Like I said, you'll see it spike up real quick, and you'll say you're down $600. Tesla will be flat for an hour. You'll come back, and you're only down $100. It's just those quick moves in IV, because everyone's buying, and then it kind of just tapers off.
And for the most part, when you're on this side of it, these losses are just paper losses. They're not really actual real losses.
Yeah, unless you exit the position, you will not sustain a loss as long as it expires worthless.
So that's really a big key takeaway for everyone, listening in this side of the game. You're really playing the time, and time is in your favor on this side of the game. But also on the flip side, a good point to note on it is that even in a position like this, like you said, if Spotify ends up dropping and now its puts get assigned, you essentially put yourself in a position where you could still get a stock at a way cheaper price than you initially anticipated. So it's not either you collecting a premium or you getting a stock at a cheaper price than you really wanted. That you ever thought you could get it at.
And that's why in my portfolio right now I have short puts on Apple at 240 for September 2022, and a short put on Tesla for $500 for 2022. Again, I'm just collecting the premium there and letting those sit, because at those levels I'd happily welcome those shares.
So it's funny now that I'm talking to you about it. That could be a strategy too, just for people on the stock side who are looking to get into stocks, and they feel like, a stock is kind of overpriced or overinflated right now. You could essentially just sell puts on them and then essentially, if you do get assigned on a whatchamacallit, if you do get assigned on the contract, you're getting the stock that you wanted for a price that you wanted. And if not, you're just collecting premium until the stock drops to that price. If it never drops to that price, you're just essentially always collecting premium on the contracts.
Exactly. And from the chat, I'm a huge Apple and Tesla fan, so I'll have no problem buying Apple at $240 a share and Tesla at $500 pre-split. It's kind of a no-brainer for me to go long at that position and then just collect the premium, because I'm collecting around $5,700 in premium just on the Tesla play for just letting it sit for, I don't know, what is it, 2 years? Yeah, 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good strategy if you're a very patient person. That's what selling premium is. You have to be very patient. You can't react to spikes in price right away.
So now, on average, so going back to, I kind of want to go back into that earnings run you had. So on this earnings run, I have two questions. What made you choose, outside of the IV rank, were there any other factors that made you choose which specific stock? I mean, outside of the IV rank and they had earnings that time? And then, answer that question first and I'll ask you a follow-up one after that.
What made me choose the stock?
Yeah, outside of, was it just IV rank, or did you look at, because, I mean, even if you look at the IV rank, I'm pretty sure you saw several stocks that kind of fit the criteria IV rank-wise for you to make a play on. What was the determining factor after that point on which specific stocks you were going to play?
So basically, it was IV rank, then I would look at the implied move, and then I would add on earnings, I tend to look 15 to 20% outside of the implied move. So I would look at strikes around there and see what the premium was. So basically, it was on the IV rank and then the premium with the strikes I wanted. If the premium wasn't good, then I didn't really think it was worth it.
And for people who are listening, someone may be listening and say, like, what does he mean, like, if the premium was good or the premium wasn't good? What metrics or what are you using to determine whether or not a premium is inflated or not?
So to me, it's if I can get $80 or more for a same week earnings play, I will take that basically every time, because most of the earnings I was playing happened on Tuesday and Wednesday, and with 2 days left to expiration, to be able to get $80 for a strike, 35% outside of the money. Outside of the money, that's pretty good premium, and I would happily take that. It's worth the risk to me.
So date-wise, if these were earnings on Tuesday/Wednesday, but you were getting into this position on Monday.
I was getting into them. So if they report after the bell, I usually get into them the day before. So like market hours before or a day early. Just depends on if how early I want to collect the premium. So for instance, because the premium, it's weird. They differ from company to company. So like Zoom's premium right now is very weird. So I've already entered Zoom's earning play, and they're not until 8/31, just because the premiums for basically the rest of the month of August are extremely low. And then once you look at September, you start to see premiums just spike. So I've already entered my play for Zoom because I see those already inflated premiums. So it just depends on what I see, to be honest. But I usually just look at implied volatility in the ranking of that.
Got it. And when for that Zoom play, did you play it the same way how you did Spotify?
Yeah. So actually, I can pull that up real quick. I just got to go to my Fidelity real quick.
And for y'all listening, this is Tyler's blessing y'all with some gems right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like free. This is free plays he's giving y'all right now. So y'all should definitely feel free to follow him on Twitter. Tyler, what's your Twitter? I think that shit is like at T7, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Some dude in like the Netherlands has my Twitter account and hasn't tweeted in 2013, and I can't get it for some reason. So
crazy.
I had to be creative.
So yeah, what's your Twitter?
7 YLER Bear BAIR.
So yeah, definitely go follow Tyler, and feel free to follow up on any questions you have here. And he may or may not charge you for answers to those questions. I can't speak for him, so you can feel free to.
I usually post all the trades I'm taking, unless they're extremely risky, like a Tesla play or something.
Got you.
On my Twitter. So what I have open on Zoom right now is September 4th, so 5 days after they report earnings. So I think they report Monday, which is August 31st. And I have a 325 short call and a 150 short put. And I'm collecting $190 on that.
And where did Zoom close at on Friday?
It closed at 244.91. So basically, it has to move $100 down and $80 up,
which is highly unlikely. And you're collecting $160 on that. How much buying power did you need to enter that position?
I think that was around $2,500 in buying power.
So again, it's like a $2,500 position, super low risk, and you're essentially making $160 of free money on it.
Yeah, $190 for
$190
2 weeks. Yeah.
So for a lot of people who are getting into the options game or been in the options game, getting burnt by it, again, there's a million ways to skin a cat, and not every position you enter necessarily has to be high risk. And like Tyler was saying, if you have these short puts and you get assigned on them, if you taking the short puts on stocks you actually like, you don't mind. Now you could actually get the equity for a much cheaper price. So again, key takeaways is, when you're playing the game like this, you definitely have to have buying power. It's not, you definitely can't do these plays with $100, $200. You got to have at least some type of buying power. Second of all, I think when you're playing these positions, there's definitely, I want to say you have to do more due diligence, but it's almost like if you put the shit really far out the money, it's almost like you can't really take crazy L's on it if your shit is super far out the money.
Exactly. The only way you'd be able to take a crazy L is if, you were playing Tesla and some news came out and you had a short call at 2,400 and Tesla ran to 2,000. You're going to see some wild paper losses in your account. But as long as it stays below your strike price, those paper losses just don't mean anything.
Exactly, because the Tesla could still run up to 22, 23, but if the day of your contract expires, it's still not at 24. You're good.
It could, most of the times it could close on Friday. Like, let's say you took a Tesla 1,800 for this Friday and it closed at 1,800. Most of the times that's okay, because I know for Fidelity, sorry about that, it has to finish a penny in the money in order to be exercised. Got it. But now it's also up to the person who owns the contract if they want to assign you or not. So you don't really have any say since you're selling the contract. You're selling the rights to it.
But again, when we play in these positions, you don't even want to play it that close to where you're trying to worry about the penny exactly. If you're in the money. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're trying to collect some crazy premium and try to short Tesla using this short call strategy, that's just an insane amount of risk that I honestly would never want to take on. So when you're when you went 9-0 on the earnings, all of these plays, you did them all expiring the same week of earnings? So what I would do is I would try to target the weeks where implied volatility was the highest. And that happened to be for most of them the same week, which is just, you'll see that with every stock. But so when I played net earnings, net only does monthly options. So there's only one expiration per month, unlike what you see on Apple where you have every Friday basically. Who only has one expiration a month? Say that again? Net does Cloudflare. Okay. The ticker's NBC. So I
didn't really make any money on this. I think the most I could have collected was $110, and I walked